Hi everyone, it's Ileana and I have a few cards to share with you today. I'm going to be using the Hero Arts Urban Skyline stamp. I have it mounted in my MISTI. I did remove the foam insert and I just placed a half sheet of Gina layering cardstock. I'm starting with the Ombre ink pad from Hero Arts. It's the Pull to Navy. If you're not familiar with it, there are 3 different little pads inside of this ink pad, and so what you have to do is you have to kind of go back and forth to blend the colors so you can get the ombre look. And so I started in the middle and I worked my way towards the top, and then at the very top I just reversed the pad so that I could get more color up at the top. And so now I'm adding color to the top, and then what I'll do is I'll go back and blend that color in with the ink pad, and you can kind of see how on the stamp there's a variation in colors, and I'm going to keep doing this until I get my entire card base stamped. Now for the bottom, I'm just going to flip the pad the other way so that the navy is still in the middle, and I'm just going to work my way back and forth until I have the entire thing covered. And I'm going to keep repeating this until I have my solid image stamped onto my cardstock. So you can see there's a little spot that I needed to add more ink, and so I'm just going to add more ink to that area. And the best thing about the MISTI is that there is some flexibility to the lid. Not all stamps are made the same, and so by having some flexibility in the lid, you're able to push down in an area where you may have missed stamping. You want to be careful not to stamp too many times because the ink may start to feather if you saturate your paper too much. I've removed my panel from my MISTI, and now I'm just going to take a heat gun and I'm just going to dry the ink just a little bit just to make sure that the paper's not wet before I go to trim it. For my sentiment, I'm going to use a die from Concord and Ninth. It is called Thinking of You. It just cuts out the words, and so what I plan to do is just run it through my die cutter, and once I have everything cut out, I'm just going to pop out the letters. I'm going to hold on to the center of the O's, and I've just trimmed it down and mounted it onto some black cardstock so that you're able to read the words a little bit better. So I've mounted my panel onto some white cardstock, and then I put that on a black card base. I do go back and I add some sequins at the end of the video. Now if you don't have the ombre ink pads, you can still do the same technique with your regular ink pads. And so I'm going to show you how to do that using your MISTI. I did cut this piece a little bit bigger. I'm not sure why. I just had a scrap piece. And I'm starting off with inking up the very top portion of my stamp with Butter Bar. It is a Hero Arts ink. And then I'm going in with Rose Madder. And then for the very bottom, I'm using Raspberry Jam. And you'll notice that I am going back and forth with some of the colors, and you don't have to worry about ruining your ink pads. The ink will come off. You just have to kind of rub the top of your ink pad onto some scrap paper. And so here I am just trying to add more color, and I want to really blend that color in so that it does look like an ombre and that you don't have that jagged line. And so by taking your different ink pads and you're just going to go back and forth, you're just going to cross that margin where the ink touches. Now I wanted to have a little bit more variation between the raspberry jam and the rose madder, so I took the ultra pink, and I only have that in a mini ink cube. And so you could see how beautiful that ombre effect is. It does require a little bit of practice, so I did do this several times. So you can see right here, I tried one and I had orange on it. But if you just pick out the 3 colors, you'll get that in-between color. So here are the 3 blue cards that I made. The one on the left has the Thinking of You die from Concord and Ninth. The middle one has the Painted Thanks from Simon Says Stamp. And the one on the right also has the Happy Birthday from Simon Says Stamp. I also used the ombre sequence from Hero Arts on all of the cards, just to add a little bit of embellishment. I also sprayed all of my cards with the Sparkle sheer spray from Imagine Crafts. Now for the other cards, I used the Hello from Simon Says Stamp. Actually, all of the dies on here are from Simon Says Stamps. And I used some sequence also from Hero Arts. And you can kind of see where this one right here, I had to practice my technique, and you could see where I blended it better on this card. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this video, and don't forget to hit that like button or the subscribe. Have a great day.